Hello, everybody, and welcome to episode 79 of the Focus on Gaming podcast. I'm Duncan, and I'm joined by Tom.
How you doing?
Hello, I'm good. And today's episode, we're going to chat about the Nvidia 5090. We're going to chat more about the Switch 2, now that Tom is back, and the Xbox Developer Direct. Some games announced then, and maybe more. So, anyway, yes. Well, welcome back, Tom. Because
Thanks.
You haven't been here for a few episodes. So you missed the announcement last week. So
I did.
Finally. So, unfortunately, it does mean your original guess was a December reveal. So you are late with that. And
True.
Also a March-April release, which we have applied for the hands-on, but unless they shadow drop it, it doesn't look like it'll be an April release.
No.
I'm hearing more rumors now about the September.
Yeah, just in time for the holiday rush.
Exactly, get it out, and by December, people will either already have one or get it ready for Christmas. Yeah. So, and I think I said April, didn't I? I think I said April.
I think you did. Yeah.
So, yeah. Although I got the announcement. Although Martin did argue that it wasn't really an announcement. So
it's more like a preview, wasn't
it? It was basically a stop leaking stuff. Here's some information, official information. Because pretty much we knew everything about it already. We'd seen renders of it. We'd seen basically everything about it.
Yeah.
Except for the things that they still haven't told us. So price, release date.
Yeah. I don't think there's much else to know. I think we're looking around about £400 price mark. So
yeah, there's been so many rumours. I've heard in the last week $500. I've heard $450. I've heard €350.
Yeah.
So you can take all of these with a pinch of salt. I'd go with the $450, maybe $400.
Yeah, it's going to be in the affordable price range.
Yeah, I think $450 is pushing it, but people will still buy it. I think $400, as long as it comes with a game, that it's not just here's the console for £400 or $400. Yeah, so yeah, I think 400 is good. 350, I think it will fly off the shelves, and I think the scalpers will probably get it. But they haven't learned from previous releases of things and from the Steam Deck release to limit it to people with an account that is above a certain age. So, well, unless they do announce something like that, which I don't think they're going to.
No, I agree.
It's too much. It's too many like moms and dads and grandparents buying for all the kids, isn't it? They'll be like, yeah, we're just going to buy you this, so we need your account details. No. They want it to be a surprise. So, but are you a day one purchaser?
I'm not, although I am quite excited about the Switch 2. So I think I like the design. I like the colouring around the controls. I like how they've changed the shape of the
It's definitely more adult, isn't it?
Yeah, it's got a USB port to the top and the bottom. Better speakers.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see if they're both what are they, PD. You have power delivery slots so that you can fast charge things.
Yeah,
and it'll be interesting to see if they're both power ports or whether it'll be you've got to charge from the bottom one or you've got to charge from the top one. I would really hope that it's the top one, because
it was
being able to charge from the bottom while you're trying to hold it on your belly or something when you're lying down is no.
It was one of the biggest complaints, wasn't it? And it caused a lot of damage to the charging port, and increase the heat to certain chips that burn out easily, which is what happened to mine.
Yeah, so obviously it will need power through the bottom one because of the dock.
Yes,
But being able to charge it from the top would be brilliant.
absolutely. Yeah,
Because
and
I
I
can
think
sit with my Steam Deck, as you know,
yeah,
and just charge it while I'm playing. It's fun.
yeah, I
Easy.
think so. By the sounds of it, it's going to output 4K in dock, and 1080p on portable. Which
Yeah,
makes
an 8-inch screen, so it'll be sort of similar in screen wise to the Legion Go, which I believe is 1200p screen, but is 8-inch, I believe, as well.
yeah, I think so.
And obviously that has detachable. But yeah, the magnetic ones. What's come out now that people have found is that there's a button just on the inside of the triggers when it's docked that
Yeah,
looks like a release button.
that's right.
So they are magnetic but locked in as well, which I think is pretty good design because I don't think magnets by themselves would be. Yeah, that would just. Could you imagine playing and you just have a really frustrating moment
Pulled
and
off.
your screen just just falls to the floor? It's like, damn
Yeah.
it!
Apparently, they tried to do it with the first Switch, but the magnets weren't able to hold the Joy Cons. So
We
this
got the
time
slot.
round, they've obviously sussed something out.
Well, modern magnets, because magnet technology has really come on in the last 7 years, hasn't it?
The last 100 years.
Exactly. I mean, they're exactly. Yeah. So it's something that should have been designed last time, and somebody's gone, well, what if we put a little lock on the top? Oh, we should. Yeah, we should have done that. So yeah, me and Martin discussed it. Neither of us were day one purchasers, but Martin is very tempted, depending on the release game. So we'll get on to Mario Kart in a bit. Metroid Prime 4, does that tickle your fancy?
No, it
No.
really doesn't. Because
A new Zelda or remasters of Tears of the Kingdom and
if it's
Breath of
Breath
the
of the
Wild?
Wild, yes,
Yeah.
potentially. If it's a next outing in that, I would be interested.
Okay.
Remakes, not interested at all.
And a new Super Mario, a rumored 3D Super Mario, a
Yeah,
la Odyssey and Galaxy and whatnot.
I'm more of a 2D Mario,
Yeah.
so I would say that 3D has
Well,
its place.
I think they've had a Super Mario Wonder recently, haven't they? There hasn't been a proper 3D. There's been I want to say more basic 3D
Yeah,
Mario's recently, but there hasn't been one since Odyssey or since Odyssey was the last full 3D Mario, wasn't it?
yeah, and we had the retro set that was released on the Switch of
So
Mario
yeah,
64.
if there was a new one and it was as well received as is most Mario games,
Yeah,
would that increase your likelihood of getting a day one?
no,
No.
I,
So
I,
it's just Mario Kart, is it for you?
I, I am not going to buy it day one at all. Not
But
going.
would is Mario Kart 9 something that makes you go, ooh, yes,
Yeah,
I want to switch to?
yeah,
Because I mean, me personally, I'm just like, is it pretty much the same as Mario Kart 8?
yes,
Yes.
because there's nothing they can do different unless they
No,
copy.
unless they do something outrageous. I mean, I did see an article and people said that they thought that the Switch 2, and I've got to agree with it, is the end of crazy Nintendo. It looks like it's sort of Nintendo going, okay, we'll do a sequel like Sony and Xbox, and we won't try anything that crazy. And there
Yeah,
doesn't seem to be, other than this rumor that they may be the Joy Cons may work as a mouse.
yeah,
That's I suppose mildly crazy, but not really because you could just have them as air mouse anyway with motion controls. So yeah,
I
I
think
I
that
don't think the mouse is really necessary.
I'd like to see them copy Mario Kart arcade style.
What, rubber banding so that your 6-year-old son who's crashed every single corner and has gone backwards for half the race, you go perfectly around every single corner. Oh look, I'm on the last lap, and oh, I'm on the last corner. What? How the hell is he behind me?
I like the style of it though. I'm not saying the gameplay's terrible. It's on the rails, but I like the how everything's so big and everything attacks you, and I think that's great because let's face it, the most recent Mario Karts are not that difficult. So
Yeah, I think they've become a lot more with more powerful hardware and more buttons and more options kind of thing. I think they have got easier because I don't think the drift. I could never get hang of the drift in the earlier Mario Karts, but yeah, I think with the power of the Switch 2, if it's a Mario Kart that's going to be on Switch and Switch 2, they can't obviously do too much craziness. But I think you will get a lot better looking, and you'll get a lot more of maybe an interactive environment in the Mario
yeah,
Kart 9. But
well, you could tell they were high definition because the roadways were, each individual block of the road had its own texture mapping and um,
yeah,
24.
it was a lot prettier.
Yeah,
But equally, it's the same with a lot of go from the Xbox and PlayStation generations. It's more of it's slightly prettier and there's a bit more stuff in
yeah,
the it's a bit crisper. Whereas going from Mega Drive to Saturn and SNES to N64, that kind of jumping graphics was mind-boggling, and it was amazing, and
mm,
you were really excited about it. And now all we're going is, oh, it might be able to do a bit of ray tracing, which ray tracing is pretty. I know it, and it can enhance enhance games a lot,
mm.
but it still isn't the jump from 2D to 3D or the jump from standard definition to high definition. It's
Yeah. But do we
it's
think now? I really do believe this is what all the console makers are doing. This is the safe generation. It gives them 7 years to work on a successor, which is a technological leap. Sorry. Um, whereas, and they have a run on Sony and Xbox because let's face it, they've outsold them both combined with the Switch. Yes, they've been out for longer, of course, but they've outdone them both. In fact, they've outdone them both on two separate generations with the Switch. So now with the Switch 2, they're going to do it again, which means Sony and Xbox will announce a console, PS6 and Xbox, whatever it will be, halfway through the generation of the Switch 2's life cycle.
hang on, let me say the original Xbox. Hang on, so original Xbox 360, Xbox One, Xbox 4. So it'll be the Xbox 5. So I'm presuming then it'll be like the Xbox B or the Xbox D or the Xbox 2, maybe.
But
Anyway,
whatever
sorry, yeah.
happens, it gives them a jump, and then what's going to happen is you'll get to the end of the life. So let's say PlayStation and Xbox bring something out year 5 or maybe year 4 of the Switch 2's life cycle. They've already got the run on them, so they're going to win again on sales. We know that's going to happen. Everyone's going to ditch the Switch and get the Switch 2.
Well, I don't think they're going to suffer like the Wii U and the Wii, but I think there will be a lot of parents out there going, but little Billy, you've got this thing cost us £300.
Yeah.
I'm not going to buy you something that's £100 more or even £50 more. You've got it. It plays all the games you've got. But do you know what else plays all the games you've got? What you've already got.
And yet they'll still buy it.
there are lots of people who will still buy it who are either gamers or got a lot of money. But there are so many people out there who will just go, no, little Billy, you ain't having it. And that's just because of its popularity. If it was waning now and there wasn't as many games and, and it was, can't do this, can't do that. And, there's all these hundreds of games that aren't coming out of it. But because there's such a massive user base, all the games for at least 2 or 3 or maybe 4 years are going to be both generations.
Yeah.
Because, do you want to sell to, in the first year, 10 million people or 150 million people?
I get it. I just think they're
we're gamers. We know that it's, there is a big difference in capabilities and graphics and blah, 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 all this kind of thing. Your average parent out there, unfortunately, does not. And they just go, what? So you want me to spend loads of money for that? There is the benefit of backwards compatibility. So little Billy will be able to say, but mummy, you don't have to buy me loads of new games. They'll just look prettier on our new TV. Yay! But
it's gonna sell. It's gonna sell.
I've no doubt it's going to sell, but I don't think it will reach the heights of the Switch. Not until it's older, a lot older. I
think also you're going to find that it gives Nintendo the chance to innovate for the next version.
Well, I mean, at the end of the day, we keep saying about handhelds are the future.
Yeah,
and they've either known that or they've just had their foot in the door since before the door was actually made. So,
what's the bet that Nintendo move away from handhelds for the Switch 3, and everyone else goes into the handheld market?
Well, I mean, there's already. We're going to be talking about CES in a bit with the 5090, but the handhelds were everywhere at CES.
They were.
There was updates to a lot of current things like the ROG Ally and the Legion Go, but also a few new ones on the market. But there's also the fact that SteamOS is going to be available for
everything.
Pretty much everything. I mean, technically, you can already put it on other things. It's just a bit more. You got to know what you're doing. But eventually, it will be a sort of, you've got that PC. Plug this in, and you'll have SteamOS.
Yeah.
And equally with handhelds, you'll just be able to plug a USB stick in or on your browser. Download something and install it. And hey presto, you'll have SteamOS. And be able to play Switch games better than you can on the Nintendo Switch. Obviously, there is the rumor that the emulators were hunted down by Nintendo because an oversimplification is basically the software will run on the emulators because it's basically an updated version of the software.
Yeah.
So although it wouldn't have been as simple as these games automatically work on Yuzu or whatever, it would have been a case of, they use that kind of software. We will update and we will soon be able to play them. And to be honest, if they have done that and it does turn out to be quite easy for emulator makers, I don't think Nintendo have got that much to worry about because it's quite easy to emulate Switch at the moment, and it's the biggest selling handheld console ever. So, I don't think they've got too much to worry about.
No, I don't think they're going to be panicking anytime soon.
No. So there you go. So focus on gaming. Out of all three of us, none of us are going to buy it. But hopefully, if we get into the hands-on experience and we are allowed to record when you're in there, I think it's just an open public one. Hopefully, we'll get to have a hands-on. We'll see April the 11th, I think it is in London.
Yeah,
Something like that.
12th.
Yeah, well, I think it's 11th, 12th, and 13th, I think.
Yeah. What did we ask for? The 12th, wasn't it?
It's the Sunday, I think.
Yeah.
I don't know.
But yeah, exciting. Let's hope we get in there, and I might bring Google Glass along with me if I can get it working, and we can just film anyway. No one will know.
Oh, we need some Ray-Ban specs.
Yeah.
What are they, about 250 quid? Something like
Yeah.
that?
Let's not.
Yeah, I don't think we will.
No.
No, I think I don't think it's a thing that's under the events are under any NDA or anything like that, because it's they've announced it and it's publicly anybody can apply for tickets. So touch wood. But then again, I was saying to Martin that last week that my application, if it's based on your activity on your Nintendo account, then my Nintendo account has Mario Run on it, and that's it. So I don't think they'll be going, oh, yes, we definitely want you to come, since you have one game and it's a mobile game on your account.
But mine has loads on it, and I'm allowed to take a guess. So whatever happens, you can come with me.
Yay. Fingers crossed.
Yeah.
So that'll be in a couple of months. All right.
And we'll be broadcasting live while we're there, I think.
If we get tickets, which fingers crossed we will.
Yeah. Be good.
Apparently, you can get up to 4 hours, although the booking times are only an hour apart. So whether that's a sort of, there's different places at different times, I don't know. But we'll see in April if we get tickets.
Time will tell.
Touch wood. Right. So this week, in January there was CES, and the big announcement at CES in terms of gaming was Nvidia, and they had their 5090 card announced, and now the reviews are out. So this is a PC card, and it's available at the lovely pocket money price of $2,000 or £1,940. And it is a beast. It is a beast of a card. I'm not going to go into all the cores and blah, 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 and all this kind of thing, mostly because I'm not that technical. But I'm technical enough. Basically, I think the way I understand it is it's a slightly more powerful card, but they've made it more AI friendly. Because all the advertisements from Nvidia were, this is going to be basically make everything twice as pretty as the 4090, which is £1,500 card, and is the current beast. But until the 30th of January, when the 5090 comes out, they were saying, oh, it's 2 times the frame rate, and ray tracing this and ray tracing that and path tracing, all this kind of thing. But most of their bump is based on DLSS4, which is coming to, in some form or another, to other previous generations. But it does mean that when you're Indiana Jones and the Great Circle gets 25 frames per second on Mac Ultra and with ray tracing on and that kind of thing, if you don't put the AI thing on the DLSS4, the frame generation, you have 2 different types of AI with graphics cards and nowadays, and you have frame generation, which is the newer one, which gets things from 40 frames per second to 60 frames per second, or in some cases 100 frames per second to 300 frames per second. And then you have upscaling, which is so it can take a 720p scene and make it look like it's 1080p. And DLSS4 does both of those, and it does them very well. And so, the reviews are out now, and it's really great. So, for $2,000, I'll say again, $2,000, just the GPU, you can get Cyberpunk with path tracing running at 60 frames per second. Yay!
Ooh.
Yeah, exactly. No, it is a fantastic card. You are getting the latest, technology that's working very well, and even without the AI, a game that will get 30 frames per second on Ultra, you'll get 40 frames per second on this. But with the AI, you'll get 90 frames per second or 70 frames per second. So things like Indiana Jones, it will look fantastic. But you need a high-end CPU for that. You need your fast uh, memory, and you need lots of it. And you need a good motherboard that's going to take advantage of all these fast speeds and whatnot. And then also, I think just the GPU can take up to something like 500 watts. So you're going to need I would estimate at least an 8 or 900 watt PSU. And most people who have those things to just upgrade it are already probably going to have a 4090. And personally, I don't feel, unless you've got money to burn, I don't feel that upgrading from 4090 is worth it. It's like upgrading from a PS5 to an Xbox Series X because an Xbox Series X has an extra teraflop.
Huh.
And it's like, yeah, but it does, yeah. It's not really worth it. If you have got plenty of money, I mean, there are cheaper ones. There is the 5080, the 5070 Ti, and the 5070, which range, I think, from $500 to $800, and then the 5080, I think, is $1,500. Don't quote me on that though. And yeah, you get what you pay for at the end of the day.
Or you could just buy a Steam Deck.
Or you could just buy a Steam Deck, but it won't have all the pretties. You want the pretties, don't you?
Yeah.
But it's basically anybody who's got a 4090, your DLSS 4 stuff will come to you eventually. Yes, okay, the 5090 will work better, but do you know what? If you're playing Counter-Strike and you're going from 500 frames per second to 650 frames per second, your monitor can't do that anyway. So why bother? Why bother?
Agreed.
But if you've got if you're sitting on a 2070 and you've got an old CPU and you've got money to burn, then why not? It is a fantastic one. It is, that would be like going from the Xbox 360 to the Xbox Series X. Yeah, that's that big of a leap.
I'm not a PC gamer, so very much this is all gobbledygook to me.
Well, like I said, it's if you've already got a powerful PC, it's not really much. It's not. You're not going to sit there and go, "Oh my god, and where has this been all my life?" You are going to go, "Wow, that is brilliant. That is getting a smoother gaming session. That is, really good." But you're not going to be wowed by it if you've already spent probably £2,000 on a 4090 PC. Well, probably more than £2,000. But if you want to get the full thing right now, you're probably talking of £3,000 if you want a PC where the CPU, the memory, and the motherboard can keep up with a 5090. And also, you're going to need a massive case because, these GPUs are the size of Steam Decks.
Right.
They are humongous things.
Huge.
There are laptop 5090s, but equally they're ones where if you don't hold them down, they'll probably take off from your lap, because the cooling required for them is quite astonishing, because the amount of power that they draw. And also, don't forget to get your own little power generator, a nuclear power generator in your living room, because it will be drawing a lot of electric. So if you're in a country where your electric is expensive, be careful, or just only play graphically simple games, in which case you don't need a 5090. But apparently, it's in things like Cyberpunk. The games look amazing. I mean, obviously, I've only played it on the Series X.
Yeah.
And I've seen videos of people who've played on 4090s with mods or with path tracing and that kind of thing, and it does look amazing. But it's still the same game. That it still looks good, even on the Series X without all the bells and whistles in performance mode. So
Batman Arkham looked good, actually.
Oh yeah, what?
Someone released a mod for it to make it ray tracing and improve all the text. So they literally redid the whole game. Obviously, it's an unofficial thing.
Oh, okay. Arkham Asylum. I thought you were talking about that VR game. I'm like, hang on. Quest. The Quest can do ray tracing.
Well,
I mean, they were good looking games. The Batman Arkham.
They were,
games.
but this upgrade is phenomenal.
Yeah.
So really impressive.
I mean, there's a lot of if you look on Nexus mods with PC gaming, there's a lot of games like GTA 5 has quite a few realism mods that add, sort of. I don't know whether it adds ray tracing, but it had proper reflections and all sorts of texture upgrades, and the rain will splash better and all these kind of things. So you get some fantastic looking videos out there. Generally, though, unless you've got a powerful PC, it'll take a game like GTA 5 that bog standard. If it's vanilla, you'll be able to run it at, let's say, 150 frames per second, and it'll take that, and then suddenly it'll run at 20 frames per second. But it's a bit like running Minecraft shaders on a phone version of Minecraft, which, if you want a slideshow, go ahead.
That's what you're gonna get.
Don't do that.
Yeah.
Right. Well, I think we've confused you enough with all the 5090 details. But if you do fancy a £3,000 hole in your pocket, go and build a PC with a 5090 on it.
Go for it. Enjoy.
So this week as well, there was the Xbox Developer Direct, which they'd announced that there was going to be, and they'd said what was going to be in it, but they did say there was going to be one surprise, and there was rumours that it could be Halo, there was rumours that it could be various other things. Turned out it was Ninja Gaiden 4.
Ooh.
Yeah, that was sort of my response as well. Now, Ninja Gaiden, they are fantastic games, and it is a good game. I wasn't disappointed as such that it was because it was a rubbish looking game. It was just Ninja Gaiden, was it? Okay.
Yeah, it's nothing you kind of go, wow.
Yeah, the fact that it's number 4 and nobody had even particularly, I haven't seen any rumours that it was that, because not that nobody cared, but it wasn't in back of everybody's mind. I really need another Ninja Gaiden. So they really said, and it looks fantastic. They gave brief overview on or some information on the story. They showed off the graphics and a release window of autumn, fall 2025. So that should be out. What they did also announce was a shadow drop of a remastered Ninja Gaiden 2 Black, which I have played. I played. I downloaded straight away because I was like, yeah, I'll have a little go on that.
Yeah.
Because I play, I did play it not when it originally came out. When I think there was another remaster or something. But when they released it on Xbox One, I played it, and it was always very well known for being tough as nails. Have you ever played it?
I have, yeah, but it's been a long time since.
Yeah, it's an action game. A little bit of button bashing. Defending or blocking at the right time, and a lot of different moves to slice people in two and chop their arms off and chop their heads off and all this kind of stuff. And yeah, it's a fantastic game, but I think they might have made it a little bit easier because I actually got somewhere on this version of the game. I did give up when I very first played it because I'd heard it was very hard, and yeah, I didn't get very far, and I died a lot. This time I've played it, and yeah, I've got through a couple of the levels already. What's
Ooh,
going on?
congratulations.
Yeah, I know. I'm 46 years old, and I've got made to feel like I was actually good at games again.
Oh,
Yeah, don't worry. I'm sure it
you're
will bring me
recent.
down to earth eventually. Yeah, because I am not very good at games anymore. No, I'm ever so sorry to disappoint you.
Especially
But,
Mario Kart.
well, we'll always have that first game.
We will.
Just to remind anybody listening,
We'll
he
always have
went on and
3-0.
on and on about beating me every time. We had one race, and I beat him.
Actually, we had 5 races, and you won 1.
No, the next day we had
Well, we had 5
the
races,
next time.
5 races, and you won 1.
I don't know. No, that was in the sequel.
No, no. We played
Well,
it on the Super Nintendo Mini. 5 races, and just to remind all our listeners, you won the first race.
exactly.
Yeah.
The
Oh,
first
I
one.
was just warming up.
Oh, any excuse. Any excuse.
That's it. That's it. And when
So
I warmed up, I beat you like I was your mum.
I don't think my mum would have beaten me at Mario Kart. She wasn't very good at gaming. My mum. She loved Tetris, but no, she wasn't really a Mario player. Although we did used to play Daley Thompson's Decathlon, and she wasn't very good at that either. That was all about me and my brother and my sister and my dad.
Oh, many a
Uh,
Tetris on the Game Boy competition in our household.
my mom just found it and discovered Tetris, and discovered that she loved it and got a
Yeah.
bit obsessed with it.
I think
Uh,
everyone did though, didn't they, on the Game Boy? Everyone just absolutely just became addicted.
well, it was like the Wii, though, wasn't it? And that's where Nintendo sort of triumphed, was
Yeah.
having that thing that even your nan would like to play,
Yeah.
and Tetris was it. Yeah, Wii Sports was it. It's those kind of things,
Yeah.
and now with the Switch, you had it where you could have it. You could give it to the kids and they could bugger off to the other room, or you could all sit around and play a stupid game in the living room on the
True.
TV.
Speaking of which, I have a Super Nintendo emulator on my phone, my Pixel Fold, and I
Uh,
decided to screencast the game through Google Home to my
yeah.
TV and play the other day. So I was playing Super
Oh, isn't
Turrican.
there lag?
No, it was absolutely brilliant. I had the Stadia controller as my controller as such. So
Okay.
there
I mean,
should.
I've tried that before, but it's literally been I'm playing something on my phone, and 2 to 3 seconds later, it appears on the TV.
Yeah. Well,
And
in
maybe it's
theory,
because I've got a crap TV.
so have I. My TV's 10 years old at least.
Okay.
But yeah, it was bang on, and I assume the controller being a Stadia controller with a Google phone, using Google Home to put it through the TV on the Google TV stick helped. Probably remove the lag.
I mean, the Stadia controller now is just a basic Bluetooth controller. It doesn't use the Wi-Fi connection that it had when it was a Stadia controller. So it is just a basic Bluetooth controller now.
Yeah.
It's a very good basic Bluetooth controller. But yeah, it is just a Bluetooth controller. No, I'm quite shocked with that because I've tried casting quite a few things before, and the only thing I've ever been able to work quite through doing that is Jackbox games, because it doesn't matter if they're a few seconds behind. But no, anything that requires timing and fast reaction, no, I've never been able to get that to cast well.
Yeah, I was shocked. Absolutely shocked.
Yeah.
So,
well, yeah, so maybe that's a thing that everybody should try now.
Yeah.
Definitely, I wouldn't recommend Ninja Gaiden casting though, because that's really fast reactions you need for that. Although it'd be a good test, I suppose. Oh, pardon me. Just drinking loads of Coke and it's repeating on me. So Ninja Gaiden 4. No, neither of us were. I just don't know. Yes, okay, it's a popular IP, but I don't think there was any necessary reason to make it a big surprise. Yeah. Anyway, Ninja Gaiden 4, autumn 2025. I'm sure it'll be good, but I don't think we're particularly excited for it. I think they said it would be a Game Pass game.
It's inevitable, isn't it? I think.
So it's Team Ninja. Are Team Ninja owned by Xbox now? Team Ninja Wiki. Let's have a look. There are Japanese and no, they're Koei Tecmo. KOEI Tecmo.
Oh.
So yeah, there you go. Subsidiaries they own Ruby Party, Omega Force, Midas, and Kushibusawa and Gust. Whoever that is. Right.
Is that Gush or Gust?
Gust.
Oh.
As in a wind. Gust of wind.
Just checking.
So what else did they showed was things that they'd said that they were going to show at the Xbox Developer Direct. There was Do the Dark Ages, which I think you had said before that you were interested in. They have announced the date of release. It's going to be out May the 15th. So not actually that long.
No.
Less than 4 months. And it looks fantastic. There isn't going to be any multiplayer, but to be honest, I never really played the original 2016 Doom online. I think I tried it once and got absolutely tore to pieces, so never played it again.
Mm-hmm.
It looks fantastic. It looks brutal. It looks pretty. It looks gory. It's got medieval stylings. You have there's a shield. There's it's sort of medieval but techie, if that makes sense.
Everything you need then.
Yeah, so it's sci-fi medieval, if that makes sense. It looks like, and in typical Doom style, it was quite dark as well.
Dark.
And manly, because it's manly. Just chopping things up and watching their insides explode, that kind of thing.
And why not? I mean,
yeah. I mean, I'm going to be playing the living daylights out of that. Let's just say that when it comes out on May the 15th, and it looks superb.
I am definitely looking forward to it.
If you've got a 5090 by that point, I'm sure you will have it looking exactly like they did in their videos. But I can imagine it'll look a little bit worse on the Series X, and definitely worse on the Series S. Maybe a little less frames. So yeah, Doom looking good, May 15th. Next, what I was quite surprised about, because they had showed it before, was a game called South of Midnight. Now they showed this off before, I think, in various Xbox things, but this was, I think, the first sort of in-depth look at it, and it looks really good. This South of Midnight, it looks gorgeous, really gorgeous. It's got a definite style to it. It's got that kind of, you know how the Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
That 20, what is it, 22 frames per second thing that makes it look like it's a cartoony kind of look. It's got that sort of feel to it,
Yeah.
but at the same time, the backgrounds and the environment that you're running around, it looks really gorgeous. It is by the same people who make We Happy Few, which doesn't fill me with much hope, because that really disappointed me. They looked like it could have been really good, but it wasn't very good in the end. Pretty poor. But yeah, it's got traversal, it's got big epic bosses, it's got puzzles. Yeah, it's a story-based game as well. So yeah, I'm quite excited about that. And we haven't got long to wait for that, because that's April the 8th. That's coming out.
Quite quick
Yeah.
then.
Yeah, so yeah, I mean, I think they first announced or showed it off at that big one in July last year, when they showed off, like 5 million games, because everyone was saying they didn't have any games coming out. Yeah, so that's like an action, not an RPG, but an action puzzle platformer kind of game. Not long after that, April the 24th, is an RPG coming out, which again is another one that I didn't even remember, but is coming in 2 months. Claire Obscure Expedition 33, which is, to me, it looked like it was almost like a Western JRPG. Looks very pretty. It's turn-based, which people who listen to the podcast know I much prefer turn-based than live, real-time action in my RPGs. I like my RPGs to be able, I like to be able to think of what I'm doing rather than being rushed. Again, in my old age, I can't do much. So yeah, again, it looks
kind of cool.
Looks gorgeous. It's not by a massive, big budget company, so I think that bodes well for it, and also normally means there'll be a little bit of jank. And
Compulsion Games, isn't it, or something?
Sandfall. Compulsion is the one who did South of Midnight.
Oh yes.
Sandfall Interactive, I think they're relatively new. I think they're one of the ones that's made up of developers and story people from another big company, kind of thing. I'll try and find it out, actually, because I will. Yeah.
Oh yeah, Sandfall. Yeah.
Sandfall. There you go.
It's a weird name for a game.
They're so new that they haven't even got a Wikipedia page.
Let's get them on the podcast. Have a chat.
They're a French one. Oh no, that was it. Yes, I remember the video now. This was it was basically a French guy who was like, I really want to make this game. I've got a good idea, and got his mate who was a developer. And then he knew another person who was good at music or something like that, and then they knew another person who was this, and then another person who was like this, and eventually made a company called Sandfall Interactive. But it's been published by Kepler Interactive, which is the people who published Sifu and Scorn and Chia, Pacific Drive, Cat Quest 3. So they've released some pretty good games. So they know a good game when they see one. So yeah, another one that I'm looking forward to. So overall, it was a good Xbox Developer Direct. I was quite happy with it.
Interestingly, in other Xbox news, Phil
Oh, yeah.
Spencer has teased Microsoft's plan to support Xbox games on the Nintendo Switch too.
Yeah, they have said that. There's been their outlook or their direction is changing.
Yeah. No
Whether
more
that means,
Xbox consoles. Come on, Phil, make it so.
yeah, I mean it's
Give us a handheld. That's all we want.
yeah a decent handheld at a decent price.
Yeah. And just stop releasing the consoles. Not necessary with Game Pass.
Well, thing is, I mean, I think what they would love to do, I think they would love to be, they want to be like Valve.
Yeah.
They want to go, right, okay, so we're controlling Windows sales, we're controlling Xbox sales, and Xbox is selling on all platforms, but we have got our own hardware. And then they can license it out to be Xbox. Now, the thing is that they've tried to get their own store with the UWP games, Universal Windows Platform or something, and nobody likes it, nobody uses it, and it's not going to happen that they control the PC games. But I think if they, they could have a niche of being the console release people. I think that could be their thing. With they go right, we release games on consoles, and whether that means that they also have hardware or not, I don't know. It's, at the end of the day, they don't want to be like Sega, who stopped doing hardware and basically had to go small before they then went big, got big again. But that, I think they want a little bit of that, a little bit of, but they want to keep their toes in the hardware. But
I think
handheld.
Steam Deck style handheld seems to make sense with the dock. We've said it before. But.
Yeah. And we'll keep saying it until they release it, until they announce it. I think this year they've got to announce the handheld this year, because otherwise they're just going to be beaten to the punch by PlayStation, or people are just going to go, oh well, I've got a Switch 2 now, so don't really care what you're releasing, and it's just going to seem like a bit of desperation, which. At the end of the day, they're one of the biggest companies in the world, and they're going to be very, very careful of what they release and what they're going to put a lot of money into whatever they release. But it's difficult to explain, but they already know what they're going to be doing in 2028.
Yeah,
it's not like a company that can go, oh, that looks like it's a good idea, that Steam Deck. Oh, tell you what, and then they contact AMD and contact this person and go, oh, they know what they're already going to release. Yes, okay, things can change and specs can change and all this kind of thing. But yeah, that as soon as the Steam Deck became a success, and as soon as the Switch became a success, they're going to go, right, handheld. How do we do that? So yeah, hardware. I don't think they're going to leave hardware. I think they're not lying with that. I think that it'll just be very different hardware.
Yeah, I just don't see any more. I honestly don't see any more next generation Xbox consoles in the current form, because they're losing too much money on them.
Well, it is all about the investment. I mean, gone are the days. I mean, this generation and the previous generation, pretty much, gone are the days where they used to take a hit on the hardware.
Yeah.
That was the last one that they did that with, was probably the 360 and PS3, and even that they stopped pretty quickly doing that, and basically the mass production brought the cost down to so that they did stop losing money. Yeah, I don't know.
Time will tell.
We'll see. We'll see.
Yeah.
So yeah, Xbox has been well, PlayStation haven't really been had any leaks of their handheld. Haven't heard any more.
No, the Portal is fantastic. Limited, but fantastic.
Yeah, you enjoying it? So
Yeah, I think it's really good, but it is limited. I think it needs a Game Pass style, um, ability.
I mean, you could. Can you? I thought you could stream or cloud stream now on it.
You can cloud stream 120 games, which, in my opinion, is not enough. So
Yeah, it would be good if everything that was available on the premium tier, everything. So, like your PlayStation One games, everything. Are they? If you have PlayStation Premium, PlayStation Plus Premium, is that? Are you able to stream everything?
no, you can stream
Oh, that's a shame.
120 games. That's it. There's more
Okay.
coming, but as it stands
Okay.
at the moment,
I suppose you could look at it in the way it's like Game Pass originally. Game Pass was, well, at the very first, I think there was 4 games or something like that, or 6 games.
yeah,
You did have to pay for it. The cloud gaming. It was free for as a test. If you got in the test, you could play these few games for free. And even when Game Pass first came out, there was, I think there was only like 30 or 40 games.
yeah.
But it was some new games, and it was newish games. You were like, ooh, sparkly and new. Now I think with EA Play, I think it's about 400. And Xbox are allowing streaming of games that you own now, but you still have to have Game Pass Ultimate. So would that make it, if you could go, oh, I own, I don't know, Metaphor ReFantasio, that's not on PS Plus, but because you've got PS Plus Premium or something, they go, you can stream games you own. Would that?
That'd be great.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I think that is the future, and I think that's what obviously Microsoft literally are experimenting with it now. I think there's 50 games. I think that they've released that you could, if you own them, you can stream them. Which I have an app called XB Play on Steam. So on the Steam Deck, I can stream my Xbox. I can play cloud-based games.
yeah.
And on there is Hitman, which Hitman is not in Game Pass, but I own it. So I was like, oh, I wonder if that's one of the games. And yes, it's either one of the games or they've magically found a way to stream it. This app has. So it just streams like any other game that's on Xbox cloud gaming. So yeah,
Is Indiana Jones on Game Pass at the moment?
It is. Yeah, I have completed it. It's fantastic. If you're older and like all the Indiana Jones films, number 1, number 2, number 3, because there's nothing after that, is there?
No.
Then yeah, you'll love it for the nostalgia. If you're young and you have no idea about any of the Indiana Jones films, number 1, only watch the first 3. The other 2 don't really.
They are rubbish.
Actually, the most recent one wasn't too bad. I've watched the first 2 recently with the children, and they're so good.
Yeah.
And when I think about the Crystal Skull, oh god, it's like I feel I feel embarrassed for Harrison Ford because it's quite obvious they got what's his name, Sheila Buff in to sort of be the new Indiana Jones, and it just didn't work. And yeah, it wasn't very good, and the story wasn't very good. And the most recent one, yeah, he's 80 years old. He's literally 80 years old. So, yeah, you could start. You can tell he's 80 years old. Although he's very good for 80. Anyway, back to the game. The game itself, it's got some great puzzles. It's got lots of pickups. Once you learn how to do the fighting, took me a while, but once you learn how to do that, that's easy but satisfying. It obviously looks good. It looks even better on PC if you've got a powerful PC.
Yeah.
And yeah, it had some really good mechanics. There was a couple of downsides here and there. I mean, the first person melee fighting is never going to be great. You're never going to go, oh, first person fighter. Yeah, I want to play that. No, you're not, unless you're playing on VR. So it's not as good as shooting kind of thing. You can shoot things, but again, that's so. And you only get a very limited number of bullets. And also, most of it is stealth, so you don't want to be shooting things most of the time. Some of the last area you go to, which is not Cambodia. Is it Cambodia? Or Vietnam? I can't remember. But anyway, the last place you go to, you have to. There is a fast travel system, but equally you travel around on boat, and it's. I just found after a few times of going on the boat, I'm like, I don't want. I just don't want to go on the boat now. I don't want to find a fast travel place. Or I was in an area where there wasn't fast travel. I'm like, I'm going to go on the boat again. Yeah. But other than that, yeah, it's a definite 9 out of 10.
I definitely want to give it a go, just to go in the pyramids. That's what I'm interested in.
Oh. Would you like to be disappointed?
Go for it.
You don't go in the pyramids.
Oh, I'm not playing it.
No, literally, you can't even walk on the pyramids.
What?
You can walk right up to the pyramids. Tell a lie. There is a bit where I think you go under a little bit of a pyramid, maybe at the end of that area. I won't spoil too much, but yeah, no. If you try and go on the pyramids, it goes. Yeah, sorry about that.
Disappointing.
Yeah, you do get to go underground around the pyramids.
Yeah,
and go into lots of areas underground that are very ornate and spectacular. So don't think that would be the most spectacular thing that you would do, because there are some underground areas that you're like, ooh, this is like a big. In Raiders of the Lost Ark, obviously when they're excavating and there's the little model.
yeah,
and there's underground areas like that kind of thing. Not exactly that one, but yeah. So it's pretty good. And there's a hilarious cutscene with you fighting the woman and you fighting two Germans, which is quite funny. With people sort of, it's like the Three Stooges with somebody putting their elbow back to punch somebody, and their elbow hits somebody, and they're like, oh, whoops a daisy, and then punch the other person, and then they fall down, and then they hurt somebody, or it's very slapstick. But that's why it's good, because it's got a lot of the Indiana Jones humor.
yeah.
And also, not in a million years would you think that it wasn't Harrison Ford doing the voice. The voice is absolutely spot on. I couldn't fault it. And yeah, it's got and also the guy who plays Candyman, who obviously passed away.
Yeah.
I think something like 2 weeks before the game came out.
Oh wow!
So it's his last ever thing that he's done. He's quite a major character in it.
Yeah.
Yeah, so he's in it. Very good. Brilliant thing to remember him by. Yeah, and his character's quite interesting. Yeah.
And of course, Harrison Ford is now playing the Red Hulk in Avengers.
Right?
Yeah. So he's the general and he transforms into the Red Hulk
Huh.
in the new Avengers movie, the new Captain America Avengers movie.
I mean, I know there's the new one coming out. It's coming out in a couple of weeks, isn't it? The
Yeah.
Brave New World.
And he is the general and the Red Hulk.
Huh. Oh, is there a new trailer? Is there?
I haven't looked at it.
Oh,
But
yeah.
it does look good. I'm looking forward to it. I don't know if the Green Hulk's in it. I'm not sure, but
Well,
I would assume so.
I don't think there's been as much of a big. I think the previous few films have disappointed everybody so much that everybody's been like. I think a lot of people aren't really caring about this new Captain America film. Well, whatever. I don't know.
Time will tell. Time will tell. So,
Indeed.
So we are going to now discuss, and this is quite an interesting topic, our favourite games from 8-bit right through to modern day on many systems as we can think of.
Now, is this going to be? Do you want it to be a fast sort of quad? This one was the favourite game, or do you want an actual sort of? Oh no, I forgot. Oh, forgot about this. Oh, forgot about this. What about this game? Oh, what about this game?
I think
Oh,
snappy and reason why. Yeah.
And are we going by system or by generation?
Oh, that's interesting. Well, we'll start 8-bit and then work from there.
Okay.
So,
well, I'll tell you what. 8-bit then.
we can only do the machines we know, obviously. So
yeah, I mean, obviously, I've played. For most generations, I've played 2 or 3 consoles at least.
Yeah.
So 8-bit. So what are we talking? We're talking NES, Master System, and earlier. Let's go with earlier as well, because obviously you got all your Pong machines,
your micros and stuff like that.
Yeah,
like your Amstrad, your Spectrums, stuff like that.
Yeah, well, yeah. I mean, in the bit area, would they be classed as 8-bit computers?
They are 8-bit, yeah.
Okay, I don't
know.
No. All I know it was the 8-bit era. If
we need a list.
The thing is, if I'm going to go by classic, it has to be Super Mario Brothers on the Nintendo Entertainment System. But I didn't own one, so I'm going to go favorite ever game
on the NES.
Probably Jetpack.
On the NES?
No, on Spectrum.
Oh, Spectrum. Okay. Yeah.
So Jetpack was a single screen game but you could go around off the left side of the screen, come back on the right side of the screen, and all you had was 3 platforms in the air, and you controlled a little spaceman who you flew up, and you had to pick up parts of the spaceship and then drop them over in a particular area, and it would fall down and create the spaceship, all while shooting little alien creatures. And different levels, the more levels you got, the different creatures with different activities would appear. And you can get it if you get rare replay. You get Jetpack, the original Jetpack refueled as well, which both fantastic games. Yeah, Jetpack is probably the game played the most.
Okay, so I would say Atari 2600. I'm going way back now. I would say it would be Pac-Man, although it was a shit version, but I still loved it. It was a home release. Nintendo, the NES. I did own one many years later after its release, but back in the days, played around my mate's house, and I would say Return of the Jedi, Star Wars. Well, it was Star Wars. It was my favorite game.
Was it similar to the Super Star Wars, where it was just like a side-scrolling shoot 'em platformer?
Kind of, yeah. It had different levels with different aspect ratios, but yeah, really hard game, really good fun.
They
Very
all were
closely,
bloody hard then, weren't
yeah.
they?
They were closely followed by Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, which was not the arcade one. It was like this scrolling platformer thing,
Oh
and that
yes,
was
I think I
so
played
bloody
that.
hard. It was mental. So
But Battletoads.
Battletoads, good, and of course Super Mario Bros.
Yeah,
And
Super
that's-
Mario Brothers. I think if
Yeah,
if you're going to go by a classic game, that is was just perfect, really, wasn't it?
yeah,
But I didn't really play that. I wanted to play it back in the 80s, but I didn't really play that until probably I emulated when I first owned a PC.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah, and even then, back in those days, you didn't really get controllers for PCs that
That's true.
easily.
Yeah,
Um, they were all PS2 ones, and they were all clicky, horrible things that were just ugly. And, yeah.
and early days of PCs, you wouldn't even have a mouse.
Oh no, I don't mean that early. God, God. No, I mean when I owned one, not some PC back in the 90s kind of thing. No, like when you could when I first had a 200 megahertz kind of
486.
kind of PC, you were able to emulate Game Boy, NES, Super
Yeah.
Nintendo, that kind of thing.
So Sega Master System. Did you ever play with Sega Master System?
I did. I had friends who had one. I had a friend who had a Master System and a Game Gear as well when that came out.
Yeah.
But there was nothing on the Master System really that stood out. But obviously, they did eventually get Sonic on there,
True.
which was a technical marvel. But yeah,
Pretty
nothing
scaled back.
really.
Yeah. Paperboy for me on the Master System.
Yeah, I mean, you had things like that, and he had Space Harrier,
Yeah.
that kind of, the Sega games. But nah,
Now you didn't have an Amstrad, did you?
no,
No. See, my favorite on the Amstrad.
nobody had an Amstrad.
Shut up, shut up. My favorite on the Amstrad CPC 464 would have been Harrier Attack,
What was that then?
which was it
Oh,
had
was that just a side-scrolling one where you drop bombs and
had the
and
plane.
shot along? Yeah,
Yeah, there's only about
okay.
5 levels on it. And you drop bombs, you shot planes out of the air. It was really good. And I would say shortly followed up by, controversially, Terminator 2.
I wouldn't know why that was controversial, but
Oh, God, it was shit.
that
All right,
that would make sense. That would make sense.
Game Boy original.
Oh, Game Boy. Oh, Super Mario Land.
Super
Easy.
Mario Land, all the way.
Super Mario Land 1, because
Yeah.
2 sucked ass. It didn't suck ass. It was just they tried to make it too pretty,
Yeah.
and it just didn't work as well.
Didn't you have a Game Gear as well?
I did not have a Game Gear. No,
Or was it
I
Linked?
did had an. Oh, we looked it up. Did we found it in there? What was it? Neo Geo Pocket Color. That's what I had,
Oh, that was what you had. Yeah.
and
Did
it
you-
sucked.
What
No,
was your favourite?
it didn't. It just did. It had like about 3 games for it.
And what was your favourite?
I can't even remember them now. It's basically like a 2D fighter. There was I can't remember what it was, but it was very basic. It was a handheld in a time of a color handheld in a time of not color handhelds.
And obviously, only several months later, they did release the Neo Geo Pocket Color, which tanked. But
I had the Neo Geo Pocket Color.
Oh, you did?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, well, they had the black and white version, which was naff.
Yeah.
And then they had the color version.
I had the color version because they were selling them off for like dirt cheap. I'm like,
£3.
That's really cool.
My favorite game on that was Sonic. So,
I don't think I think I probably would even back then. I would have gone. Why would I want Sonic on this? Right, 16-bit. Come on, Mega Drive. Big favorite.
PJ Tour Golf.
Oh, I remember you saying that before. I did like that. I had a friend who we used to play it quite a lot. The fact that it would know where it would do a sort of fake 3D rendition of the and you can have a fly through
Yeah.
on
Shortly,
the
shortly
holes.
followed up by Aladdin, which was incredible.
I see now. I loved playing with my friend who owned a Mega Drive, Star Control.
Star
That's
Control.
such a good game. Such a good game. Big space epic where you could fly to different planets. Imagine No Man's Sky or Freelancer, that kind of game, but on a Mega Drive, or Elite, but not 3D. So like a 2D game, and then you had battles with other, like on a single screen, you'd have it where you'd be flying around and trying to shoot each other, but it had like an asteroids kind of feel,
Okay.
and so yeah, it was quite good. And then there was a multiplayer, 2-player game where you could just try and shoot each other. So we'd have a couple of hours of playing Star Control, and then we'd play the multiplayer and try and shoot each other, which was
Weirdly,
good
I
fun.
can't find that game. I'm Googling it and I can't find it.
Yeah, Star Control. Star Control
It wasn't Star Cruiser.
Mega Drive. Yeah, there you go. Star Control, 1990 video game.
Yeah. Interesting.
Battles of the Urquan Conflict, Volume 4. Yeah, it was. I mean, a precursor to. Oh, yeah, to things like Freelancer, where you'd go to a place and you'd have somebody threaten you, or you'd have somebody trading with you and whatnot. You could upgrade things, and you could have different ships.
Yeah.
And yeah, it was just fantastic, absolutely fantastic.
Another one we've got also is Mortal Kombat on the Genesis that had the blood.
Yeah, it was good. I mean, there was lots. I played a lot of Mega Drive games, and
Yeah.
there wasn't just that. Yeah, I love the Sonic 2. I mean, Sonic 2 just
Yeah.
absolutely should have kept Sega in the hardware as their mascot for a lot longer. But
You know
alas,
what did that, didn't you? You know what actually damaged them in the end?
well, there was all sorts of things over, hardware, software, all sorts.
Mainly, it was US and the US and Japanese teams kept producing separate consoles. So, like when they did the 32X, there was two different versions. When they did um, the Dreamcast, there was two separate versions. Even the Sega Saturn, there was two different versions, and they just spent so much on development, they just killed the company. So, and of course, that's they just had no structure to what they were doing. But
Yeah,
yeah,
left hand doesn't know what the right hand's doing, literally.
I have that problem.
That's funny for people who don't know why that's
I
funny.
know.
Right, so
Super Nintendo.
Super Nintendo. I see. I didn't play this much, but since then it's the same as the Game Boy. It's got to be Super Mario World
Super
because
Mario
it's
World.
still the best Mario.
It
ever.
is by far. And F-Zero was another great game.
I mean, there was some fantastic RPGs. It was a real good sort of where the JRPGs really took a hold. Because there was lots of things that were earlier, lots of RPGs, big, expansive, your Ultimas, that kind of thing beforehand. Your Fantasy Star games, but then you had all your JRPGs that came on, especially on the SNES.
Yeah. You had Star Fox and Donkey Kong Country. I mean, Donkey Kong Country was phenomenal. It was like
Tough as nails.
render graphics, multiple characters on the screen at once.
It was a very pretty game. Very
Right
pretty.
at the end, also of the machine's life, you had Donkey Kong Country 3, which was outstanding. But it was literally one of the last games released on the Super Nintendo. In fact, I think it caused a few Super Nintendos to just die. So, um, yeah,
It's yeah. In terms of prettiness, they were great, but Mario World, it just it's so good. Even nowadays,
yeah,
it holds up
yeah.
just as well. Yeah.
Now I know
Uh,
you've not played this one, and we're now kind of stepping into the 64-bit era, the 128-bit era. But the Panasonic,
Jaguar.
well, yeah, we'll do the Jaguar first. But I was thinking 3DO, but the Atari Jaguar. Did you ever play it?
No.
No. So
It failed so quickly. I think nobody particularly really played it.
yeah,
It was literally like it was it was meant to be this huge big thing coming from Atari, who
mm,
were still sort of huge, um, and yeah, it flopped.
it flopped.
I
But
yeah.
Rain Man and Alien versus Predator were two phenomenal games on that system. I mean,
But
they were.
again, Rayman wasn't original though, for it because it was Super Nintendo that was on first, or was it?
Um, I don't know. I don't know, but
I will try
it
and find
is
out.
by far the best version of that game ever.
So the first one, oh no, it was Atari Jaguar, PlayStation, Sega Saturn, MS DOS. So Atari Jaguar, there you
Yeah.
go.
And
Mate,
Aliens versus Predator was amazing. I mean, honestly, I don't know if it ever got a PC release, but it was absolutely brilliant. So,
I wouldn't have a clue because
yeah.
there's the thing is, Alien vs Predator is one of these ones where it's like which one, which one
But
is
you
it you
see,
wanted?
this Aliens versus Predator was vastly different to any other Aliens versus Predator game. So it had digitized captures for the characters. You could play as the Predator, as the soldier, or as the alien.
Oh, it was
Uh,
a first-person shooter.
yeah,
Oh yes, I think I've seen little. I'm just looking at a screenshot now. I think I've seen pictures of that.
absolutely brilliant
It
game.
did come out on the Atari Jaguar only, by the looks of it.
Yeah, yeah,
It was cartridge based because it did have a CD and cartridge slot, didn't it?
yeah. It had a CD add-on that was released.
CD add-on, yeah.
It was
Because
very,
apparently
very
there was
high
there
speed.
was 50 games and 13 CD-ROMs.
Yeah.
Um,
And to be
so
honest with you, you could just record a, a DVD recorded disc of a hacked game and play it. It was that easy.
oh god,
Um, but Panasonic 3DO, you had Gex, which was an amazing game. You had
3DO was all about the FMV backgrounds, wasn't it? So
um, yes
right,
and
it
no. If you
wasn't all about it, but it was.
yeah, if you could
It,
afford the video card add-on, which was very expensive.
I mean, if people wish to go back and listen to our 3DO special, I think I could shorten it into probably a few words, maybe 2 words. It's expensive and meh.
And it had the best version of Street Fighter too.
Okay.
So there we go. Right, let's try and find something you have used. Sega Saturn.
Oh, Sega Saturn. Uh, Tomb Raider, even though it wasn't a very good version.
Or I'd say X-Men for me.
See, Saturn I played on, but again, I think maybe I had clever friends, or maybe I had friends with not as much money to spend. But
Yeah.
yeah, we weren't. We yeah, and
Did
not
you
many
ever
of our.
play the Nintendo Virtual Boy?
No, God no,
No. Do
no.
you know what? I owned one, and one of my kids dropped it and practically killed it. It was really annoying. Uh,
Uh,
because the mirrors inside it had to be angled a certain way, and if you drop it, they just well, yeah, you know
gave
what?
you even more of a headache.
Yeah, but no, all this headache stuff was a load of old crap.
Yeah.
Basically, You didn't get headaches. I used it for hours. Never got a headache.
It's things. It's like VR, isn't it? You get people, oh no, VR's rubbish because you just get sick, and it's like,
Yeah.
no, you get sick. A lot of
Yeah.
people don't.
Yeah.
I mean,
Exactly.
I've played VR around it, yours and here, and I've never probably played for more than half an hour, but
Mm.
it's never made me feel sick at all.
No. Well, the Virtual Boy never made me feel sick, and I played for hours. Tetris on it was phenomenal. Mario Clash on it was phenomenal. Street Fighter 2 on it's incredible, although it's unofficial release. Mario Tennis was absolutely brilliant. It had some great games, so it wasn't portable. So yeah,
Yeah, I think the Saturn as well. It was the Saturn was the last. Sorry, I zoned out a bit there. You were still talking about the Saturn. Yeah, it was the.
you mean Virtual Boy?
Oh, sorry, the Virtual Boy. It was. Yeah. Oh yes, we were talking about the Virtual Boy. But, I did zone
Duncan
out a
needs a
bit.
drink.
No, I haven't even been drinking tonight. Just on the cola tonight. It was. The graphics were more or less Game Boy, weren't they? They were sort of slightly. It was slightly faster. It worked slightly faster than the
I
Game
don't know
Boy
about Game Boy. No, I wouldn't agree. I would
because
say they were more
it was monochrome, wasn't it? It was red and black.
red and black. They could have done a color version. It was more around cost.
Yeah.
But no, graphically, it was more
It was.
PlayStation
It
1.
was. It was. It wasn't that powerful. God no, no.
Graphically, it was absolutely brilliant.
I mean, most of the games though were like Mario Tennis and Super Mario, that kind of thing, weren't they?
But when you look into the other stuff, it had like unreleased Mario Kart games. It had Street Fighter 2. It had Teleboxer. It
Yeah.
it had an unreleased Star Fox game. I mean, this thing was it was
Terrible.
it was virgin on PlayStation 1 graphics.
Yeah, it was still a 2D kind of thing. It's just that they wanted to make out that you could, see everything in 3D. What you mean is 2D things.
You know when you kind of get those people who can't drive and they sit in the car with you and say, "Watch this, mind that, don't do that," and you're going the wrong way. This is the same thing when someone talks about something they've never actually played. So
I have played a Virtual Boy game, just not on a Virtual Boy.
yeah, it was true 3D. It was very, very good.
Yeah, because
But the
Virtual
system was
Boy.
shit.
Yeah, just I've seen videos of people sort of like trying to walk along with them and just bumping into things. Obviously on purpose,
It's like wearing a Vision Pro.
giggles. They tried to make something portable that absolutely wasn't portable because you couldn't see. So,
and it needs to be plugged in at all times. So
is it?
yeah.
What was the point of it? There just wasn't a point.
No.
They've made a few missteps in their time.
Yeah.
So they're not infallible. Right, we're going to get to 32-bit. So PS1, for me, it's got to be Final Fantasy VII because it's the game that sticks in my memory the most. I mean, there's so many games that I owned on that and played on that. Were great on that. The original Grand Theft Auto, the Demolition Derby games, Tomb Raider, all the Tomb Raiders that were on it. Your Resident Evils, your Dino Crisis, your Metal Gear Solid, Wipeout. So many good games. But the one game that still sticks in my mind is Final Fantasy VII. It's still such a fantastic version, and although I'm playing through the Final Fantasy VII remake, and it's got good reviews, and for me, the turn-based gaming is still where it's hard. I still much prefer that, and it was. I don't know, and maybe it was a thing of its time, but yeah, Final Fantasy VII quite easily, and still one of the best games of all time.
I would say for me, it was either Ridge Racer or Wipeout.
Definitely like them racing games.
Yeah, but there was another one, and it's going to bug me now. It was
Gran
a bit
Turismo?
like no, it was a bit like GoldenEye on the
Oh, okay.
N64, and you would
Siphon Filter?
siphon filter, but the second one,
Siphon
siphon,
Filter 2?
yeah, siphon filter 2 was so good.
Yeah, Siphon Filter goes. If we're going to go by action, a nice bit of action, then it's got to be Metal Gear Solid, I think, as well. That
Yeah,
was such a. It pushed like the what you could do with the PlayStation 1, not necessarily graphically. The graphics were fantastic at the time, but it was the whole stealth thing and all that. It was just brilliant.
and
Lovely.
Driver, that was great as well.
Oh yeah. Although screw that underground training bit.
Oh mate,
Oh dear lord.
frustrating.
I mean, anybody who says about From Software games, it's like, yeah. Go and just start Driver
Yeah, definitely.
and
Yeah.
try and get past that first
Oh,
flipping. And that was meant to instruct you on how to play the game.
the most frustrating thing ever.
And I remember me and my friends as well. I don't know whether you had to manually save or whether maybe it had crashed or something like that, but we completed it and then realised we hadn't saved it or something like that,
Yeah.
and so had to do it all over again.
You
But
could
then
use
once you did it, you could save it, or it would
Yeah.
save at a certain point. You'd be like, yes, I never have to see that underground car park ever again.
Well, the action replay disc allowed you to bypass that level anyway. But
Oh, I never had anything like that. It was only I only found out about the disc swap method. God, when I had it was literally at the end of the PS1's life,
yeah.
and I found out about that. So yeah, and that was
Nintendo
easy.
64.
See, I didn't really play much on that, and I'm not really a fan of Mario 64. So
I'm with you on that. Yeah.
Mario Kart 64.
Do you know what I would say on this one? Now it's going to be very controversial. I say we put the Nintendo 64 in the bin.
Yeah, I mean, screw that controller. Oh, that controller is the ugliest, horriblest thing I've ever used in gaming.
It was, what was it? It was
a
clever machine.
Three things, yeah.
But it was dated by the time it was released.
Yeah, it shouldn't have been cut. If they've released a CD version of it, so it could have had more storage.
Yeah.
So you could have had textured polygons and all this kind of thing. It would have been.
They only did it to stop piracy. That's the only reason they use cartridges.
And it just I mean, I know we're not we're not with the majority, but Super Mario 64, if you love it, great. But me personally, I don't. The controller. I've tried to actually play it once on a friend's N64 with the controller. I was just like, I can't control this, and the fact that it's so like he has momentum, and you're like, no, I want you to stop and run the other way. Okay, we've just got to slow down first. then we're going to.
I can never get out of the water. So, I'm gonna just put every Nintendo 64 lover in their place right now. Mario Kart 64 was crap.
I don't think
I
said that.
Game, it's terrible. It's vile, and it should be shot.
I suppose actually, the Zelda games aren't there. I will go for. I don't know which ones run. I'm going to go for Ocarina of Time.
I will go for F-Zero just because I've got to pick something, or Star Wars. But all in all, the machine needs to go in the bin. Moving on.
So Ocarina. I will say the Ocarina of Time. I have played it a little bit, but they never really grabbed me. Even back then, I was like, "Oh, that's great." Okay.
Sega Dreamcast.
Easy for the time, and I've played it since, and it hasn't aged well. But Shenmue Shenmue at the time was like jaw-droppingly brilliant. Not only did it look great, but there was so much you could do. There was a town and you could just play arcade games or get a job or buy food or this kind of thing, all while advancing a story and whatnot.
Yeah.
So for the time, Shenmue. If I'm going to go by what I've played recently, and I love and still holds up, I love Sonic Adventure. Sonic Adventure, although many people didn't, but many people did.
There's so many on this machine.
Sonic Adventure. Sonic Adventure, then I think if you're going to go by what's.
It's going to be. I can't pin this down to one game, but so I'm not going to try.
You got Jet Set Radio, you got Crazy Taxi,
Yeah,
you got
House of the Dead, Street Fighter 3.
You've got some JRPGs. Was there Legend of Raccoon?
It's just an amazing machine.
Choo Choo Rocket that came with the machine. Choo Choo Rocket is fantastic.
Yeah,
I love that game.
It's just an amazing machine, and I can't believe it failed. I really can't. But
yeah,
I feel it was more about Sega.
It was also really easy to pirate. So
yeah. Had they released a DVD player in the machine, it would have been a success.
Yeah, well, unfortunately though, that was the Sony technology. So Sony were like, "Oh, we want ours to win. What shall we do? Let's put it in this machine and sell it cheap."
That's a good transition to the PlayStation 2.
PlayStation 2. Oh, see, I played so many games on that, and owned so many games. Final Fantasy X is obviously a good one, but do you know what? I don't think I ever actually finished Final Fantasy X, so that goes in the bin. What am I talking about? GTA 4.
Silent Hill 2.
Was that? Oh yeah, it was PS2, wasn't it?
Yeah.
It's going to be GTA 4. Tekken Tag Tournament. Tag Tournament.
Amazing.
Yeah, now that I played a lot, and the Soul Calibur as well.
Yeah.
Soul Calibur games.
Outstanding machine. And in fact,
they were great.
Design-wise, the original version of the PlayStation 2 stands up today.
Well, it's the last generation where games at the beginning of it and the games at the end of it were like, it was like different generations.
Yeah.
I mean, you literally had like GTA, Vice City and all that, and GTA San Andreas, then GTA 4 at the end, and it's like, no.
Xbox
GTA 4? No. Was GTA 4 on PS2 or was that Xbox 360?
I thought that was PS3.
No, that's PS3 only, wasn't it?
Yeah.
What am I thinking of?
Xbox
San Andreas. I'm thinking of Vice City and San Andreas.
I'll give you that one.
What did you say? Xbox. The original Xbox. I did have that, and it's got to be one game that, because the way it looked and the way it played, Splinter Cell, the first Splinter Cell. I think that was on the original Xbox. They did bring it out eventually on PlayStation 2, but it was they had to dumb it down a bit for PlayStation 2 because the hardware was not as powerful.
I think Halo for me.
I didn't actually play original Halo.
It wasn't great, but for me, it was just the one that stands out.
Yeah, I mean, it's meant to be it is. Obviously, I've played it many times since, but at the time now, I wasn't really, because I had a PC as well, and so I wasn't really interested in first-person shooters because I had a PC. PC had your Quakes and your Unreal Tournaments and such like. So I was more. My console was more for single player or local multiplayer games. And I also liked Blinks the Time Sweeper on Xbox 3 on the original Xbox.
What was that little alien? Oddworld? Oddworld? Yeah.
Oh, that was PlayStation 1. The first
Oh, the first one was, yeah.
Oddworld.
I think the Xbox one was,
You had Oddworld Abe's Odyssey
yeah.
and Oddworld Abe's Exodus. And then when the Xbox and PlayStation 2 came out, you had I think they did bring out another one,
They did.
like a 2D one, but then they also brought out the 3D ones, which was, I don't know whether it was on PS2 or PS3, was Stranger's Wrath and another one. I can't remember what it was. But yeah, so yeah, two very good puzzle games, the Odyssey and Exodus. Very hard. Very, very, very hard.
Yeah.
Even with guides, they were quite hard to do because you had to do split second timing and like go from one thing to another, to roll, to jump, to roll, to jump, to pull that lever, to rescue that, and then time something else. So it was bloody hard. But
So we're going to jump to the next era of gaming, but we're going to do 3 consoles at once. So I need snappy decisions on these ones.
Well, yeah, because we are an hour and 40 minutes now.
We are. So I'm going to give you 3 consoles, and I need 3 answers. Are you ready?
Go on.
Nintendo GameCube, Xbox 360, and PlayStation 3.
Oh, what, you want one?
I want one for each.
Oh, but what's the GameCube? What's the ones with the little things that follow you? Pikmin. Pikmin. That's the one.
Yeah.
Pikmin. Or Pikmin 2. I don't know. Yeah,
F-Zero. F-Zero for me.
What's number 2?
The 360.
The 360. Ooh. What did I like on the 360? GTA 4.
I'm going to agree with you on that one.
Yeah, GTA 4.
PlayStation 3.
Can I say GTA 4 again? PlayStation 3. If we're going to go for exclusives for both of them, I'll go for Gears of War 2 and what is there on the PS3?
Metal Gear.
I don't know. I never actually owned a PS3.
Oh, Metal Gear. That was brilliant.
Oh, that was multi-platform.
Yeah.
Oh no, Metal Gear Solid 3 wasn't. Number 3 wasn't, was it?
The 3 was the one that came boxed with the console. They did a special release.
Okay.
And that was phenomenal, but it took forever to load.
And then you had to watch cutscenes that wasn't the ending or one of the cutscenes literally an hour and 15 minutes long.
That was the first loading screen. It was him smoking a cigarette, like way to advertise it to kids of smoking. So, right, Nintendo Wii.
Wii Sports. Wii Sports was just so much fun.
Yeah, Tiger Woods 05 golf.
Yeah, the Tiger Woods games were okay. Yeah, they were
and
very
obviously
good.
Super Mario Kart. Nintendo Wii.
That's what you just said.
No, that's right, Wii U.
Oh, Wii U.
Mine's Zombie U.
Yeah, I didn't really. I've played a couple of Wii U games, but not really that many. So I'll go for Zombie U as well because I played that on the Xbox, and it was a bit rubbish because it needed that double second screen.
Yeah.
So you could aim at things and get the map off and all that kind of stuff. Yeah.
And we're not going to go to current generation. We're going to leave the rest of it to our next episode, so Martin can join in, as he's much younger than us.
Yes, such a baby.
Oh,
he isn't though. He's only 10 years younger than us.
That's a lot in gaming years.
That is a lot. Yeah.
So next episode we'll go PlayStation 4, all the Xboxes in between, and then PlayStation 5.
And yeah, if you're going to buy a 5090 and you think we're wrong and everybody should spend $2,000 on a new card, let us know.
So we can tell you you're wrong.
Nah, well, if you got lots of money, go for it. You know what?
Yeah.
Who cares?
But
I certainly will not be buying one. But then again, I do need. Well, technically it's my stepson's computer. I do need to encourage him to save up for for a new graphics card because still rocking a 1070,
Get
which
down to
is
CEX and buy him a graphics card, dude.
oh god, even like if I buy a second-hand one. Yeah. I mean, his processor's not too bad. It's a 12th generation Intel, but right, yeah.
On that
So
note,
focus on gaming.co.uk. Leave us a review, like, and whatnot.
comment on someone else shenanigans on Facebook.
Comment on the fact that we spent an hour and 45 minutes talking this time.
Enjoy.
And yeah, on that note, bye.